Welcome to the new North Stars session. Today is going to be really special because we have two new leaders of CVC. So Dina from Stanley Ventures, Matt from GM Ventures. Both are taking the leadership of the respective CVC. And we are going to spend a lot of time trying to get a lot of golden nuggets. But first, I'm going to ask Dina and then Matt to introduce themselves maybe for 30, 60 seconds. Dina? Are you on mute?
Thank you, Nicola. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Dina Routhier, and I am the new president of Stanley Venture, which is the corporate venture unit of Stanley Black & Decker. Most people know us as a large tools company. We own the DeWalt and Craftsman brand, and in fact, 48 other tools brands. And we are a diversified company with 6 very different businesses, actually. I was promoted in December when my predecessor retired from Stanley Black & Decker, and I'm thrilled to build and extend on what my predecessor, what the foundation that he built. So glad to be here.
Congratulations, Dina. Matt?
Yes, hello everyone. So my name is Matt Chan. First of all, thank you, Nicola, and really a pleasure to be part of this panel. I've been with General Motors my entire career, but venturing is new for me. I was appointed just in July to be the president of GM Ventures. I also have responsibility for General Motors Research and Development, and at the same time, the Chief Technology Officer for General Motors. Now, GM Ventures has been around for 10 years. In fact, we celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. It's a small but very vibrant team that's looking for opportunities, real synergies between startups and how they can help our business and also how we can help them grow. So excited to be on the panel.
Very nice, thank you. Maybe you could also mention where you are most excited to invest so that at least the rest of the audience know when to contact you. Dina first.
Oh goodness, since our businesses are so diversified, and you take a look at our portfolio, we really are all over the map. Everything from advanced motor technologies, battery technologies, additive manufacturing is a strong area of interest for us. Advanced materials, advances in the physical security space, and then digital health technologies. I mean, it runs the gamut because we are such a diversified company.
Thank you. Matt?
Yeah, so we've identified several specific areas where we're focused on. The most important of which today is really advanced propulsion, because as a company, we're moving towards electrification in a big way. So companies that are involved in advanced battery chemistries that can make our batteries more efficient, more cost-effective, safer, et cetera, but we're looking out at the full gamut of electrification. So that includes motors and controllers, inverters, et cetera. Another key area is connectivity. Vehicles getting increasingly connected. We're moving towards 5G. So technologies associated with connected vehicles. A third area is a long-standing area for us as a company, which is advanced materials. We're always looking for lightweighting opportunities. Lightweighting today improves fuel economy. In the future, is going to improve energy efficiency for battery electric vehicles. So folks that have advanced materials ideas, we're quite interested. An area that really supports our move towards autonomous would be sensors, processors, and memories. Because artificial intelligence, autonomous technologies, very power hungry, needs very, very high-speed computing at affordable cost, and very advanced sensors. Manufacturing technology, we're very, very significant manufacturer at high volume. So anything that helps improves our manufacturing processes. And then finally, business analytics, things that help improve the efficiency of our operations, whether it's logistics or manufacturing or supply chain. Those are all very, very interesting, including marketing.
Very nice. I think I can speak for TDK Ventures, but many people, many CVCs in the audience, we look forward to working very closely with you. Now, let's touch about leadership, because you're the new leadership, and I'm sure your respective CVCs have done a really good job so far. But there are probably a few things you want to improve or to change. Can you touch on what you're planning to really improve or tweak in the coming 12 months? Maybe Dina first. I think I will always go Dina, Matt, Dina,
okay.
Matt.
I'm happy to take that. So, Stanley Ventures has been around for almost exactly 5 years. We have made 38 investments on behalf of all of our different business units. And when I think about sort of where we are, like what stage of life we're at, I sort of think of us as a teenager in a sense, like a young adult in the life cycle of a CVC unit, in the sense that we've made enough investments to really get our feet wet and know what we're doing. We know how to source deals. Our networks are strong. What I think we need to do moving forward to build and extend upon that great foundation is I think we need to focus on building out a portfolio development function to our team. So our team today looks like 4 really experienced hunters, deal hunters, people who know how to use their networks to source great new deals, and then to structure and negotiate great investments as well as commercial partnerships, because almost always we combine a commercial partnership with our investment, and we don't really do one without the other. As we look forward, I think we need to add people to our team, initially 1 person to our team, to start building a portfolio development function. And so what is that? That basically is a person that is focused solely on extracting the maximum strategic value from the portfolio companies that we have, and then making sure that we're adding value to those portfolio companies. So it's not just Stanley Black & Decker that are getting the advantages from these partnerships, but that we're also adding that money plus that we promise to our startups. So someone to be a concierge in a sense to the startups and help them navigate the monolith, or just sort of the big company that Stanley Black & Decker is in comparison to the size of the startup. So for me, it's all about building out that portfolio development function over the next couple of years.
I like the term money plus. We use capital plus plus, which I think is the same meaning. Let me double click quickly. What would success look like? I mean, really success in terms of portfolio lifecycle management.
Sure, it takes a lot of forms, but when I think about it, it means that we are able to scale the commercial partnerships faster, right? So that Stanley Black & Decker and the startups are generating and scaling revenues in the fastest way possible. But then also what I'd like that individual to do is to look for multiple use cases across the organization. So for example, if our battery team makes an exciting battery investment, what are other use cases for that same technology within our engineered fastening business, our healthcare business, our commercial security business? So it's really making sure that we land and expand in a way. So those are 2 characteristics of what I would define success, although there are many others.
Very nice. Thank you, Dina. Matt, what about you? I mean, you're new to GM Ventures, like you mentioned, but you're no stranger to GM. And you've been there for 6 months, since July. So what are the things that you have discovered, and what are the things that you wish to now improve upon?
Yeah, great question, Nicola. So, coming into the GM Ventures role, it's all new to me because I had not been exposed to venturing in the past. And what I found is we've got a small team, but very, very engaged, and really operates very much like a well-oiled machine in terms of looking for opportunities, vetting companies, working with startups, and really trying to drive some mutual success. At present, we have 26 portfolio companies that we're working with. We've already had over 16 exits, and there's more to come this year. So, very, I would say very robust and very vibrant in that sense. However, one of the things I discovered coming into this role is that GM Ventures is almost like the best kept secret inside our company. A lot of people know a little bit about GM Ventures, but not very much about it. And really, to derive maximum benefit, we need to make sure that there's true synergy with the business, that there is a real understanding of how we can extract the most value from this relationship. Both in terms of helping General Motors, but also maximizing the ability for our startups to grow and be successful through our help and through our business relationships. In fact, when we put money into a company, it's not just a financial investment in the company, but oftentimes we have a commercial agreement that goes with it that entails a certain level of commitment that we're going to make to the startup and certain obligations on their part to support our business. And in many ways, I see the commercial agreement to be as important as the financial investment that we make. So this is the aspect that I probably most like to beef up, is really just to have more exposure and more collaboration within the company, so that we can make this whole endeavor that much more successful for everyone.
Very nice. And would you say this direction is actually the reason why you were chosen, because you know GM so well inside out and all the teams that you can actually find where the synergies could come from?
Yeah, I would say arguably, Nicola, that is a part of it, because I am on the senior leadership team of the company. So literally I have an opportunity to engage one-on-one and very directly across all functions, all disciplines, all regions, all business units within the company.
Very nice. And then I want to double click on these commercial agreements. Is that a requirement for you to invest? And if so, why? And if not, when would you decide to invest despite not having a commercial agreement?
Yeah, I would say even though a commercial agreement is not a hard and fast rule, it is clearly the norm and not the exception. So I think a lot of times, I think the reason that we invest in the company is because we see the strategic value that they can bring to us. So it could be, I'll give you just two simple examples. One could be a supply agreement where, there's an agreement, for example, that we will be, investing maybe some additional money, not in the equity portion of the company, but we will do an advanced development agreement, and we're willing to spend some money with them. And if successful, we will be the first customer. And over time, we will enjoy, let's say, most favored nation pricing from this company. Although we certainly want them to be able to supply to our competitors as well and increase their volume base and generate economies of scale. So that's an example on the supply side. On the other side, there are companies that we deal with, for example, that might use automotive products. And in that commercial agreement, they may commit to a certain supply or, of products from us at preferential pricing. So they'll be able to get access to our products. We'll be able to increase the visibility and exposure of our products as well as the overall volume. So these are kind of commercial agreements that we're oftentimes able to strike that represents a win-win.
Very nice. And I'm assuming that you being part of the leadership team, I think you're going to make it even easier to get this happen fast. Can you give a sense of how quick these commercial agreements get done?
Great question. So this is one of the challenges I think that's somewhat generic with corporate venturing, which is, how much independence do you want to provide to ventures organization, right? Because if you have to go through a corporate approval process for every transaction, in a company the size of General Motors, these deals will take forever because there's just too many layers of approvals. So we actually have a rather independent decision-making process. GM Ventures has an investment board, which is comprised of select business unit leaders that represent sort of the broader interests of the company. And through this very tightly focused investment board, we're able to make decisions and just execute very, very quickly.
Okay, very nice. Dina, I want to ask the same questions about whether you have commercial agreements, if it's part of your decision-making, and then I will deep dive from one of the questions of the audience.
Sure, absolutely. So we are similar to Matt's team in the sense that it is the norm that we would have a commercial partnership attached to each of our investments. There are exceptions, however, for platform technologies that we believe more are in sort of the Horizon 3 categorization, things like additive manufacturing. So I would say our additive manufacturing deals are the exception in the sense that those were not accompanied by any substantive commercial partnership. But what we truly believe that technology has the potential to provide us either huge disruption to our business or huge opportunity for new revenue areas that we don't generate today. And so for those exception areas, those Horizon 3 fundamental technologies that we know are critical for us, we will do an investment without a fulsome commercial partnership. There'll still be a commercial agreement in the sense that we'll sort of say, sample parts are printed for us at a certain price, or we'll meet a certain time, a certain number of times a year to discuss future technology roadmap. Really, that's the extent of those.
Very nice. And so the question from the audience was really about, you have an example where Stanley Ventures provided a startup's technology to your parent company, which was then included into their portfolio. And here I think you have examples, so please.
Sure. I mean, there are so many, right? So often what happens is our commercial agreement looks like us reselling that startup's technology either as a totally new offering or as an innovative feature in one of our existing offerings. And so one of the companies that we invested in, a company called Pillow Health, which we have since acquired, what that company has is a medication adherence appliance, which ensures that people aging in place within their homes take their medication on time and connect them to their younger caregivers. And so what that product did for us is it brought us into a completely new adjacent market for our Stanley Healthcare team, the health at home market. And so it is the basis and beginning of a whole new vertical for us. And so we now sell that offering under a Stanley Black & Decker brand called Priya by Black & Decker. So that's just one of countless examples I could cite.
Actually, this one is really nice because it really highlights a strategic value. You really started to shift the strategy of your company and address a new market in a new way.
Yep, very true.
Very nice. So I want to touch on something which is important for the audience, I think. Most times CVCs are very clear that they are investing, but not with the purpose of an acquisition. And when we talked beforehand, you mentioned you made 2 acquisitions, but that was not meant to be an acquisition. Could you explain a little more about this?
Sure. So our stated mandate for ventures is that we want to become a large customer of our portfolio companies, but not the only customer, of course. And we structure our commercial agreement for that purpose. But sometimes, when you find that the synergies are just too great to ignore, we have acquired 2 of our companies, 2 of our 38 portfolio companies. Besides the Pillow Health acquisition, we acquired a company called 3X Logic into our Stanley security business. And that brought not only a whole portfolio of products that we now sell, but it also brought a management team with skill sets that we did not have. And now many members of that startup management team are senior leaders in our Stanley security organization, and they have been fundamental to our transformation of that business over the last couple of years. So it does happen, even when it's not your stated intent.
But it shows that the synergies were well identified early on. Matt, you're part of the leadership team of GM. So you're going to see a few startups that look so tempting to invest first and then to acquire. Are you going to be tempted? And are you going to start changing a bit the strategy about where you invest because of that?
Not so far. I mean, the way we tend to look at, our investments in these startups is when we look at innovation, we look across 3 different pillars. There's internal innovation. We have a very well-established research and development organization, as well as advanced engineering organization that drives a lot of innovation internally. We also have a very extensive supply base full of creativity, and they bring a lot of innovation to us so that we can introduce them and integrate them into products. So really, I think looking at startups is really a 3rd pillar. This creative energy that exists out there in this ecosystem, just something that we have to pay attention to if we want to be leaders and continue to be leaders with our innovative products and services. So that's really how we tend to look at this particular situation. We're not looking at it with a view of acquiring. We're looking at a view of making us successful, and in the process, making these startups successful. And most of the time, we do take minority positions, 10 to 20% type of equity, because we don't want to overwhelm and smother the company, if you will. A lot of times, if a company like ours makes a very significant acquisition, it would deter our competitors, actually. And it probably will limit their ability to supply the industry and gain the scale that they need to gain.
I think it's a very good way to end this session, which is you need to be very careful to find the balance where you make these entrepreneurs and these startups successful versus putting so much constraint on them that actually you're killing them. So I really like this way of ending, which is it's all about the entrepreneurs. And I really wish you a lot of success. And I'm sure many CVCs in the audience are going to reach out to you and bring you some projects for you to consider. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
everyone.
Dina. Okay.
This is your deal team. They have an important responsibility, leading your company into the future of your industry. They source hundreds of valuable opportunities each year. Problem is, all this information is stored in Excel spreadsheets and silo systems. This leads to confusion, duplication of efforts, missed opportunities. In other words, valuable time wasted. What you really need is a reliable way to source, manage, and report on strategic opportunities automatically. All from one hub. And that's exactly what you get with ProCedar, a centralized platform for all of your corporate development activities. ProCedar is integrated with research databases to automatically populate information on the opportunities you source. Our system drives operational efficiencies by automating your workflows and tasks, reducing manual data entry, and providing transparency for your organization. Our collaboration tools allow you to have opportunity-specific, permissioned communication channels with internal and external stakeholders. ProCedar creates one system of truth to manage data and collaboration, rapidly configured to each individual case. And because our software is so adaptable, it means you get to execute on the best deals faster. Get your team on the same page, working from the same playbook. Connect with us now for a trial and to discover the full value of our corporate development platform.
There's lots of ways to save on auto insurance.
Really?
Yep. Very proud of that. With Smart Ride from Nationwide, they can get discounts for safe driving.
Does she get one?
Mrs. Carmichael, safest driver in Peytonville. Takes a lot of work and effort to be the safest driver in Peytonville.
What about this guy?
With Nationwide Smart Miles, the less he drives, the less he pays. The list of inspiring stories goes on and on.
I bet. I've never seen anyone do more with their retirement than you.
I concur.
Welcome to the 2021 GCV Digital Forum. This is a collaboration between GCV and ProCedar.